Hey guys, let's eat. We're doing some fermentation. I told you I was going to do some more of this. Now, we're going to do some of the tried and true methods of fermentation. Then I'm going to try a little bit of something different with honey and with onions. Why not? We're getting everything cleaned up and situated and ready to go. We're going to be using cabbages. We are going to be using white onions. We're going to be using some salt, regular fermentation process, a little bit of kimchi seasoning, and we're also going to be doing some honey fermentation. See how it works out. More to come. Now, I've shown you this before. Honey and garlic, 2 years. Honey and garlic, 3 months. Honey and garlic, going on 10 days, 2 weeks now. And you see the fermentation process still is occurring, and it will probably continue for about 3 to 6 months if I can keep my wife from eating all of it. Initially, people thought I was crazy when I was doing this. I had seen someone do it, and it's just really great. Think of this as the ultimate topping for any type of grilled saltwater fish. You know, wonderful. You'll have to try it. But this is normal fermentation process going on with the honey. We're going to do some brining, and we're going to get this all set up and situated down here. This is the little nook, the area that I do all my fermentation in. So this area kind of has some different smells. The grandkids say this is Papa's stinky corner because of the fermentation. But oh, the things that it produces. And they don't even know about the healthy benefits of it. They just know the garlic tastes sweet. They don't even know about the lacto fermentation. More to come. Okay guys, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut up this cabbage. We are going to cut it into manageable chunks to fit into the big jar there. It's my thought. This is a different way than I do it normally. But before it goes in there, we're going to put it in a bowl. We're going to salt it with nice Himalayan sea salt, and we're going to let it sit and weep and sweat out most of the water. And then we're going to take the water, we're going to save it, we're going to put this in there, we're going to make a little bit of extra brine if we need to, and then we will put this in mixture. We're going to let it sit for about 30 days. I got to get my kimchi powder and my seasonings for that, and we will proceed. Got the onion already cut up, and so we will start number one with the honey onion fermentation. Going to be an interesting one. I've never had a fermentation that made me sick. I have had fermentations that tasted like sweat socks, but I have never had one that made me sick. The lacto fermentation pretty much takes the job. It's an anaerobic process, and it dang near kills everything that's going to be nasty and hurt you. It might not be flavorful, but it's good for you. It's like medicine. Anyway, we're going to get this thing going. Okay guys, now, really simple process. I have never done onion in honey before. I've done onion in brine solution before, and it works out pretty good. And I've pickled onion, and that works out pretty good as well. And I've done onion in a vinegar solution, which is a little bit different than the pickling. And it was pretty good. But what you can see is we're taking these little chunks here and break them up. When I'm doing experiments, I like to use these smaller jars. These are still wide mouth, but they are, I think they're pint. They're just funky wide mouth pint jars, and we're gonna cram these things full. Situate this up a little bit for us. There we go. And before we put the liquid in, the honey, show you what we're going to do. The trick with anything fermentation wise is to create an anaerobic environment. That is to say, an environment without oxygen. And so what we're going to do is fill this up with a liquid. In this case, it's going to be honey. And we're going to put this smaller spice jar on top of it to hold it down. This is also a ball spice jar. It comes in a 4-pack, and you can, it comes with a pop top for seasonings, but you just press this down, and then we will see how well this works. Now this is going to be kind of odd. I have to tell you, I have never done this before, and I'm not concerned, you know, again, health-wise, but it's just different. And I've always wondered, and I have toyed with the idea of adding ginger to either the onion and honey or the garlic and honey. And we are just going to pour. More to come. How about that? Now, what we're going to do with this, set this weight on there, force this down. As the air bubbles come out, because of the anaerobic activity, we will have fermentation. How about that? Now, you can buy an exotic system, which is a really good system. Don't hate it, I just don't use it. That has a air valve that lets you burp it just like you would beer or wine. But for me, this has always worked very, very well. We're gonna let this thing ferment, and because it's a honey fermentation, it's gonna take a while. It'll probably take about 3 months. But, holy cow, look at that. Now, we're gonna take this one downstairs. I have enough, so we're gonna do one more, and then we still have to get to the cabbage. We'll see. Okay, guys, I got a little ahead of myself, but I want you to see, we went ahead and cut up that one head of cabbage, and that is going to be a lot of good oh yeah, that's gonna be good. We went ahead and put in a little bit of kimchi, so that is really gonna be some good fermented kraut, or fermented cabbage, which is kraut. So that is really good. And of course my hands are washed and everything's clean, the work surface. That's gonna be really good. You see it's kind of wet looking because once you apply the salt, it begins to sweat out the water that's in it. So we're gonna have a lot of liquid collecting in the bottom of it. We're going to be in the process of doing some other stuff with this, and I figured if I'm gonna do some fermentation today, I might as well do a whole bunch of it. But this is a little bit of the last kimchi powder that my buddy Rocco sent me, and thank you, Rocco. Thank you, Rocco. I really appreciate it because that stuff is wonderful. But I was curious. This is onions. We're going to ferment them in honey with a kimchi flavor or powder or seasonings, I guess, ultimately. So that is what we are doing. And it's I'm sure other people have done this before, but this is just something that we are doing. And you can kind of, I'll pull you back and you can see how it is draining down. There we go. Isn't that pretty? We'll let this sit for a minute. It is beautiful. Okay guys, so this is, I kind of jumped ahead because this video is going to end up running long if I don't do it. And I'll do a video on each channel just to, because this is kind of parted out to both channels, but this is the cabbage, and this is brined ultimately, which is we cut it up really thin, we rinsed it off, took off a few outer leaves. We don't really want to wash everything off of it because we want some of the good yeasts to go in and start with a fermentation process. But we got it covered with the Himalayan sea salt and also the kimchi powder, and it's going to be really good. I'll have to catch up with Rocco and find out where to get some more, because that was the last little bit, and you can see the juice. And again, you know, everything is clean. We've washed our hands and all that good stuff. These are some onions I have left over, and I put them in sea salt as well. We're going to brine them just for the heck of it, because when I do this, I think, what can I do? What might be interesting? And of course, label it and just give an idea of how much you measure and put into it. Because downstairs, I also have some ginger. So I'm thinking honey, ginger, garlic, fermented. That'll be for another video, because it's just something we're working with. And got the jars cleaned and ready to go. That is the pink Himalayan sea salt. It's actually fine grain, and sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. But just, you know, kind of hunt around, check around, whatever is in your area. More to come. Okay, guys, now we're back. The thing about cabbage, when you are making kraut or, you know, some kimchi variant, I want to show you. I haven't put any liquid in this. As you add your brine, your salt, it begins to weep the liquid out. Now that is full of the flavor. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill these guys up. I initially had like a half-gallon jar, and I was going to pull off, because I give this stuff away to all the little old ladies in the church who used to do this and can't do it no more. It's just, I mean, it's not like anything exotic or super or anything like that. But as I can, literally, as I can afford, I will buy a bunch of cabbage and all the stuff and put it together and set it up, and then parse this out and give it to people. And it's really good probiotic, so it's not food as much as it is gut health. And the people don't know it. They just think it's all good and tasty. And that is what we want, really, when we're trying to do this. We want it to taste good. My grandkids walk around eating fermented garlic that's 3 months old that they don't know is fermented garlic. They think it's like white candy. And that is all I want. So, more to come. This video is running long, and I'm getting loose with my packing. Okay, guys, now we're back. And I just wanted to show you kind of the finished product. This is one large head of cabbage that we have converted over into kraut with a little bit of kimchi twang to it. Now, initially we did not add any liquid, that is water, to it. As we finished the process and began filling up these quart jars, I needed to add some, so I added filtered water from our Berkey. You don't have to, I guess, but it's really good if you do. So if you have some kind of stored water or something like that, chlorinated water is counterproductive to the fermentation process. And I want to say, if you had to add a little bit of water and you didn't add it as a brine, here's the thing, some people might kind of frown on this. You can just add a little dab of the salt. Oh gosh, here we go. There we go. To the top. There we go. Just to mix in. This is all part of the fermentation process. And that will sit just like that. The salt will melt into the water and it will flow downward. It's a beautiful process. Lactofermentation, natural stuff, bacteria. You can see the bubbles are already forming. It is crazy how well this works. Again, I have eaten horrible, stinky stuff from fermentation experiments that I've done. I've never gotten sick. It has been less than ideal, but I've never gotten sick. This stuff is really good for you. This is what our grandparents used to do to stay healthy back before antibiotics. Remember, antibiotics weren't really developed on a broad scale until World War II. This is what Grandma and Grandpa did to keep healthy. I know this video ran long. I'm going to post it to both channels in different variations. Hope you guys forgive me just for the goofy kind of stuff I did. I was answering the phone call. I was doing work answers, work calls, and then I was talking to some other people. So again, I apologize, but this is something you should really consider doing for yourself and your family. And it's cheap and it's not expensive. It's better than the 50-cent can of kraut that you get at Walmart that tastes like metal. I promise you. I hope you enjoy.